Good morning, everyone. This is Shuvro Biswas Shuvo, lecturer, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mohammadpur, Kendriya College, Dhaka. First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Principal, Professor Soyod Jafar Ali Sir, for inspiring us to conduct the classes over virtual platform. Consequently, I would like to express my gratitude to all the frontliners, those who are helping us to protect from COVID-19 coronavirus through their tireless effort. Now, I am seeking the attention of my first year, first semester students. My subject is Fundamentals of Tourism and Hospitality, course code 510903, chapter 1. Tourism Outlook and Objectives of this chapter. After completing my session, students will be able to understand what is tourism, nature of tourism, basic tourism units, and visitors, according to the forms of tourism, components of tourism, and types of tourism, tourism products, and basic approach of tourism, and cost and benefits of tourism. Let us see meaning of tourism. What actually defines the tourism and tourism activities? All of you know from the very beginning, suppose we wish to travel our relatives, our friends' home, or anywhere from our regional environment, which is basically called tourism. But if I study more deeply, then we will be able to understand what actually tourism refers its meanings. Tourism is a collection of activities, services, industries that delivers travel experiences, including transportation, accommodation, eating, drinking, establishment, retail shop, entertainment, business. So many sectors basically included in the tourism sector. Consequently, tourism basically refers not only for refreshment purposes, but also it could refer some historical purposes. Someone can visit their friends and families, as well as they can visit their natural attractions, whatever they want to like or want to see from their own point of view. The etymological view of tourism, tornare, it's the Latin word, tornas, it's a Greek word, and late, it also refers circle movement around an axis. The definition of tourism varies person to person, man to man, but the international authorized organization of tourism like UNWTO, United Nations World Tourism Organization, refers to tourism like when a person stays outside from their usual environment, not less than 24 hours, not more than 1 year, which is called tourism. Who is a tourist? A tourist is a person who travels largely for pleasure, perhaps to see the sight, meet people, enjoy different climate, learn about new places, or enjoy new experiences. All the things basically included with the tourist or the tourism activities. Concept of tourism basically depends on so many factors like economical factors, social factors, and socioeconomic factors. But the main concept depends on the income activities and places. Tourism involves a break from the daily routine, offering peace of mind and cultural changes in the lifestyle. Elements of tourism, the most important thing of this subject, elements. Definitely, if we cook something, if we think something, then definitely we need to resource or collect some resources to organize some ideas for knowing these things, for making some ideas or creating something. So far, elements of tourism is essential in the fundamental of tourism section or the field. Pleasing weather, scenic attraction, historical and cultural factors. Pleasing weather from the very very beginning, the human revelation, pleasing weather also always have been found to be important part of the tourism sector. Scenic attraction also attracts the tourist, domestic and international tourists to visit the place again and again, like Himalaya mountain, Cox's Bazar sea beach, and so on. Historical and cultural factors. Historical and cultural factors also influence the tourist to visit a certain place for knowing the information, accurate information, right information over the places like Taj Mahal, Ajanta Ellora caves, and famous tower, and Lal Bagh Kella, and if I go to Mastangarh, Bogura, and you will see the Tantojir Mandir in Dinajpur. You will be able to understand the original view of the historical sites and the original origin of these places, of the history of the era. What is the hospitality industry? If I say hospitality, hospitality means firstly you would be able to understand after learning this session or after knowing this session, hospitality is an essential part in the tourism industry. And people used to say Bangladeshi people are always found that very much hospitable in their field, in their cultural trend and tradition. Hospitality, the word or the meaning of the word is give service to the customer. And service could be tangible or intangible, but service should be always perfect, that tourist or the customer can come back again and again to have the service or feel that he or she would be very special for you. Forms of tourism. In relation to a given country, or the following forms of tourism can be distinguished like two ways, especially like domestic tourism and international tourism. So far, domestic tourism refers to involving residents of a given country traveling only within this country. Secondly, inbound tourism involving non-residents traveling in a given country. Outbound tourism involving residents traveling in another country. Let's see basic tourism units. Another essential part of knowing the tourism sector is tourism units. If I see the top to bottom, then we will see the hierarchy: traveler, visitor, usual environment of a person, usual residence, resident in a place, nationality. Traveler, the overall concept of traveler refers to any person on a trip between two or more countries, between two or more localities within his or her country of usual residence. An international traveler is defined as any person on a trip outside his other country of residence, irrespective of a purpose and travel of means of transport used and facilities they have while he or she is traveling to a certain place. Visitor describe any person traveling to a place other than that of his or her usual residence for less than 12 months, and whose main purpose of the trip is the other than the exercise of an activity and remunerated from within this place visited. Usual environment of a person. Usual environment of a person, main thing is to exclude from the concept of visitors, person communicating each and every day with a certain place, and usual resident in a place, and nationality. Some national people can visit one place to another place and enjoy the different types of cuisines, local cuisines to get the new ideas of this place. Visitors according to forms of tourism. If I identify the visitors according to the forms of tourism, then we will be able to understand international visitors, tourist overnight visitors, those who stay overnights and then unusual or the not actual unusual, not in a common place from his usual environment. Same day visitors, they can return their home after visiting certain places. Domestic visitors, tourist, overnight visitors, and same day visitors could be same things happened with the domestic visitors. Essential requirement for the tourism. If we understand the essential requirement, then definitely we'll be able to identify, we'll be able to see the main things to visit a place or enjoy some new food, enjoy new experiences, to take them to enjoy the scenic beauty of a certain place. Then these things are basically essential to travel certain place, like first of all time, money, mobility, and motivation. Time is the important thing. Which season do you prefer to visit the place, or the peak season of peak season? And similarly, money. Definitely, you would have some money or bulk of money to spend there. And mobility, the way of communicating with people, or transportation system, or the communication process, and the motivation, how you are going to motivate by seeing someone visiting this place, or you have a fascination to go there and enjoy this place. Components of tourism: attraction, supplementary attraction, man-made artificial attraction, natural attraction, accessibility, transport, air transport. So far, components of tourism in the criteria: attraction. First of all, to visit a certain place, then definitely you have a proper attraction, or the utmost attraction to visit a certain place for a certain reason. Supplementary attraction, then you are going somewhere, then definitely then you wish to travel this place, this way of chance could help you to visit this place. Man-made artificial attraction, like a fantasy kingdom in our country. If I give an example, fantasy kingdom, then London Park, or any types of theme park is basically goes with the man-made artificial attraction, natural attraction, like if I give in the subject some example, like Sundarban, Srimangol Tea Garden, accessibilities and transport. Then definitely with all these things, accessibilities and transport is highly necessary to go in a certain place, because without facing any problem, any constraints, a traveler or a tourist want to visit a place, air transport is highly necessary, because international tourist wants to visit a place through the air transport and air facilities without facing any airport problem, checkout problem, baggage handling problem. They want a very special services here to visit our country. In the components of tourism, we will also see here rail transport, water transport, accommodation, road transport. Rail transport is a very popular transport in our country, and water transport is also popular. We had good history over water transportation. So for day by day, our water transportation is developing. Like if we see the Cox's Bazar, different types of ships are providing the or cruises providing the services to go to Saint Marine Island. So for this way, our water transportation is day by day developing, and accommodation. There are so many five star category standard hotel providing their best services in the Cox's Bazar, or even in the Chittagong, or the different part of our country. And we all of we know that in our country we have so many five-star hotels like Radisson Hotel Garden Blue, and Pacific Sonarga, and Starwood Hotels, and the Four Point Sheraton, Le Meridian. So many five-star hotels are here for you, for the tourists, as well as for you, the students who are completing the studies on this subject, as well as those who are seeking for a job in the tourism and hospitality management sector. And the road transport is, as a developing country, Bangladesh is quite developing our road transportation system, and and the road culvert bridges, have been developing rapidly. and as well as both the bridge is also developing to connecting the different parts of our country with the different parts of the area of, with the Dhaka division. And there are two major accommodation facilities here. I go service accommodation and self-service accommodation. Service accommodation means where you stay or you will have the all facilities through the service boy, waiter, and the hotel, motel, and the other inns, other accommodation employee or staffs. On the other hand, self-service accommodation basically refers to if you are staying at a, at an accommodation, then you will have to cook yourself and you will have to clean your clothing and other things. If I go through the components of the tourism, then definitely will highly emphasize on tourist hotel and hostels, lodges, vacations rentals, resorts, motel and inns, and car campaigns and caravans, homestays, hospitality, and campaign stand, etc. And awarenesses definitely. Geographical components of tourism, accessibility and location. If we wish to travel nationally or internationally, then definitely we have to proper knowledge about geographical position of this place, nature of this place, and the climate of this place. So far, firstly, we would like to identify accessibility and locations, whether this place, the way of communication is good or bad, the location is in good places or not, and the spaces, whether the space is is very tourist friendly or not, scenery of landforms like mountains, cliffs, canyons, etc., water, example river, lakes, waterfalls, glaciers, and vegetations, example forest, grasslands, desert, etc. Climate, animal life also attracts the domestic and international tourists to visit certain places, and the settlement features like towns, cities, villages, historical remains and monuments, and cultural example like way of life, tradition, folklore, arts, and crafts, etc. Different types of tourism products. If I say that tourism, different types of tourism products, then definitely we will go through nationally. If I see the natural tourism product, then definitely we would like to identify the countryside, the climate, the water, the flora, fauna, and fauna and wildlife, beaches, island, and so many spas and scenic attraction and so on. Main tourism products also attracted the tourist for their leisure purposes, for taking the special interest over the certain places. Different types of tourism products includes cultural traditions, entertainment, business, parachuting, skydiving, hand gliding, paragliding, parasailing, and so many things included with the different forms of tourism product. Water-based adventure sports includes the following activities like whitewater rafting and the adventure sports in the water, in the sea, like windsurfing, scuba diving, etc. Land-based adventure also attract the tourists like rock climbing, mountaineering, trekking, skiing, heli skiing, and so on. Basic approaches to the study of tourism. So far in this session, in this session, you will be understand what approaches basically attracts the tourist to identify the places or the tourism products. Institutional approach, managerial approach, and the economical approach. These approaches to study tourism consider the various intermediaries, institutions that perform tourism activities, like travel agency, tour operators, reservation office, different types of tourism third-party organizations or stakeholders are conducting the operating the institutional approach at tourism activities, managerial approach, the farm-oriented activities like planning, research, pricing, advertising, controlling. In our country, Bangladesh Tourism Board (BTB), it formed in 2010. They are basically maintaining the managerial approach activities, and consequently economical. If we see the economical activities, then Ministry of Civil Aviation and Tourism also playing an important part to maintaining the economical approach of tourism in our country also. Cost and benefits of tourism. Social benefits. Definitely, there are so many social benefits if tourists come domestically and internationally to visit a certain place. Like the local people, local community will be benefited after getting the domestic and international tourists, because they some in some areas people are managing their lives and bound by receiving the domestic and international tourists. Like the hilly area of our country, they're facing very problem by managing their some instance they're managing their they're managing their food. So far they can enhance their business through utilizing their places by selling their products, their cultivated products. And the social cost, there are some social cost of tourism and hospitality tourism activities. Like if someone or some group of people carries the different types of diseases, serious diseases like SARS, coronavirus, then they can easily mix with the people and spread the viruses in a minute. So for the local community and the government and the authority and all the people of the country should be very conscious to and protect them from this source of social cost. Environmental benefits, definitely there are also some environmental benefits. If someone or if a group of tourists or the international tourists visit certain place, then a place can be get an opportunity to be branded internationally or nationally. Environmental cost, like historical site, natural site can be destroyed by ruined by over visiting by the tourist. Economic cost can be happen with this same. So a opportunity cost, definitely it generates foreign exchanges in can increases incomes, creates increased gross national product. And the negative impact of tourism on society also. Opportunity cost refers to these places like prostitution and gambling also hampered the tourism sector. And it basically influence the create a bad influence in the society. So far we should be very sincere, should be very careful, regarding the opportunity cost of the tourism. And this is end of my session. I'm going to close my session with a quote. Remember, a person who wins success in a hospitality may have been counted out many times before he wins because he refuses to give up. Camel Wilson, founder of the Holiday Inn, quoted these words. Thank you all for attending my session today. My dear students, my special message for you, you should strictly bear in mind that please stay home and maintain all the personal hygiene to protect yourself from COVID-19 coronavirus. Best of luck.